Hey, Dan, Brad, what's going on?
Hey there, Scott. Thank you very much for the introduction. Good buddy Brad, how are you?
Good buddy Dan, I'm doing great. Happy Wednesday to you.
Thank you, my good friend. Can everyone see my screen?
It's coming through good.
Okay, so let's begin. Trade Ideas is not a registered investment advisor. This is our standard disclaimer. Please understand that all of the information that you're going to be listening to today is for educational and informational purposes only. For registered investment advice, you must consult a registered investment advisor. So Brad, one of the things that you and I have kind of discussed quite a bit, and I'm going to just go to a new chart here, and let's put on the DJI, for example, and just blow it up.
I'm almost, it doesn't even matter if you put on the SPX, they look really similar, right?
So when you're in this situation, and we're talking about here April, and you're sliding like this, it's difficult because the slides come with lots of gaps and reversals where you have days like this, you know, boom, then big gap down, and then run up, and then this is a very challenging, volatile market, and there's nothing wrong for a data provider like ourselves to be able to just make sure you understand that one of the ways you survive is by being small. Brad, does that make sense?
Well, it's critical. It's critical to be small when the times are a little bit more erratic, right? You want to step on it when you're trending.
Right, and this is just a challenging environment. So what I want to say first is, regardless of how much you're using the AI or if you're doing strictly discretionary trading, what will help you survive longer term in the market is this is where your size could be half and the number of trades you take potentially also half. Like, there's just no need to try to sprint or win a race where the race is kind of a marathon. It's not a race. You want to find a situation like this and ride that. But even Brad, but let's just go to keep it real, okay, from the top on in January, right? If we
that's January a year ago, not this January, but a year ago, right?
January a year ago, totally. From January a year ago, guys, look at what we've done. So we've been in a very trending market since 2016, 17, when the election happened. This was one of the best ones to trade. Then in 2018, I mean, look at this. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, coming back, and then boom, 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 boom.
Kind of like an EKG, huh?
Yeah, there's no amount of testing or back testing or here. I'm going to try to get to this is the last 2 years. Okay, starting like right here. The best that you can do in these types of environments, and they can last, you know, we don't know how long they can last, but the point is that if you catch things that are going, that's amazing. And there was an incredible opportunity right here, Brad, right? This bottom.
Lovely V bottom, yeah.
And I made some really good moves on the downturn as well. But guys, when in doubt, don't paddle out. Trade small right now until we get into something different. Like, we've been digesting, and we need to really either break out hard or come down hard. And at this point, either things can happen.
Well, look, we've been dabbling in this market for a long time now, and we've seen a lot of different markets. It's critical that you just don't overextend yourself and know when the market's starting to peter off. You just have to have a feel for it.
100%. So one of the things that I do is I kind of want to highlight some of the channels that we have specifically designed for a style direction. So here we have things that are designed that are moving up today. Now, in this case, I think, yeah, this is right at the close. I'm adjusting it. So this is stocks that are, and now of course it's aftermarket, but during the day, what you're seeing here, and let me see if I can go to, where's our history, Brad?
Time frame. You're on top list here, yeah.
So let's go to like, $11 a.m. Okay, so these are the kind of things that were moving up significantly during the day, and you can, and I'm just showing you, like, these are very big percentage movers. Okay, and you can catch them by just paying attention to the fact that there's a channel that's specifically designed for this information. Now, one of the cool things you can do, guys, is you can right click, you can duplicate. You can take this window out, then you can pin it. Okay, so here it's pinned, and now I can go to another channel like Alpha Predator, and I still have the window from before. So that's what pinning does.
Let me hey, make that window a little taller and sort it by relative volume. Say there's just a lot of different ways that you can manipulate this data. You know, we're bringing it into a gainers today, but now we can take a look at stocks that are up big today, but also are doing it on a super high relative volume. This will give you an ability to spot these guys early on in the move, early on in the day.
So yeah, so this sort is like something big is going on, and there's another thing that why are you here, and you know we've talked about this quite a bit, is that look at this move, okay, and you can almost dial it into, like you can say, you can create a window. I'm going to duplicate this one, and you can say configure, and then you can go to some of our filters and volume today, very cool one, and you can say like 15 million. Okay. Notice, like because of the heavy volume in these smaller players, right? You're going to instantly know that like things like this, you know, they're in play. And look at here's and look at how this gets instantly kind of, remember what I told you guys before, that you want to right click, create a price alert, and say to yourself, interesting.
You want to give yourself some low risk opportunities, some opportunities with some high yield, but your risk is relatively small.
So there you go. Now I've set this up, and again, the potential is if it starts to retrace this move, and you can see a gigantic flood, and when you have 65 million shares, okay, when you have 65 million shares that are coming across, that's a pretty significant move for a stock that, you know, it's pretty small. And it has a big short float of 17%. So out of the float of almost 1 billion shares, you've got 17% that are short. So that means that if something big and good is happening, they will potentially start to cover. So this is a way you take a list like this, and here Brad did a great job of showing you that, you know, you can set this up. And interestingly enough, Chesapeake, Brad, was not even that big on the relative volume, right?
Yeah, so it's doing what, 168% of its normal volume today at this point in time, right?
Right. So it gave me a clue. So now what I'm going to do is more detective work. Go to Windows specific filters. You can always search relative volume, add filter. So I'm going to say 5. Okay. So now you're seeing things that are just big time in play. Okay. Big time in play. And this is one of the ways that, again, traders from all different walks of life and directions, this is how they find the things that are difficult to find. Okay, because they can take whatever we give them. So all the channels are given to you with the notion of you can always right click, duplicate, customize, and take it out.
Yeah, or you can just customize it like it is and save it as your own custom channel. So a lot of different ways you can use the software.
So many different ways. And by the way, you know, the Q&A that Brad and I do here is a very generalized Q&A. There's education for you guys all throughout the week on every single part of our technology, from the Rudy to the Tooth.
Yeah, so Alberto, this is the, you're on the Alpha Predator channel now, right? And this is, I think it's one of the most interesting channels, because no matter what's happening during the day, whether the market's getting beaten to a pulp or what have you, there are always stocks that are moving. There are always stocks that are kind of bucking the norm, if you will. And this is just a great channel for that.
Yeah. And the other one that, so I'm going to close these out. The other channel that I like to, you know, the Countermoves, moves and Countermoves. Today, when you look at the market, it was down, right? So you can see the other direction, things that are, this is obviously, again, it's at the time of our presentation right now. But during the day, we want to make it easy. So you can have a downward moving channel, and you can create, you know, next to it, you can create your upward windows if you want to. So you can have both of the direction, whichever way you think that it's going to go. And remember that this is there is just as much opportunity on the downside as there is on the upside. Look at this move. And you can look at these things on their dailies. And you can see, look at this, from 20, okay, to 3. Most people just do not take advantage of the downside. And again, it's not as easy because, you know, there's, it's more regulated. But certainly the idea here is that even something like today that was making a move up, right? Look at the move from the top in February. Quite a bit of a decline. So the other thing that we talk about, and I mentioned this in the webinar, is that you want to be prepared for both directions. You want to kind of come in totally open-minded, you know, not obsessed about getting in long or getting in short. You want to be able to be fluidly positioned in either direction depending on what it goes. And I'm still going to go back to, Brad, what we were saying before, which is it's volatile right now and tough. Okay, volatile and tough. So keep that in mind. Let's take a look real quick at what the AI did today. It was, I can't say it was an easy day for the AI either. I mean, not a lot of trades, 6, 8, and 10. But this is what happens. Like, this is the super statistical setup, right? And it's telling you that in either direction, there were, well, I don't want, mistakes is not the right word, but statistics do not always work out. So here again, keeping losses small, very important, risk off mode, risk on, and full profit. Notice again, even in terms of, you know, being on the biggest side, Brad, we're not in $500, $600 loss positions. We always focus on you maintaining your account so that you're not stuck. So even if you're dealing with a day where you're, let's say, taking the worst of everything, right? You're talking about like $200. Yeah.
What do you have your settings set to achieve this kind of profit and loss?
Well, let me show you.
I'm customizable, guys. Okay. Yeah. 35.
Yeah. So I'm risking $35 on each trade. So, and that's customized to you. I think that's right around the low point for share size to be able to make the money. You know, if you were saying 55 and apply it, this is what it would look like. So in full risk on mode here, you would have $200 down.
And so we're giving some indications right below that chart there, that little graph of which mode is actually the most profitable. So you can see on that top AI, Holy Grail, the risk off mode, it's got the on next to it. It's telling you really that that was the most profitable mode. And this information is, it's really good to know, because what is that market having good follow through? Is the market jiggy? This is the kind of information that's conveyed through those data points.
And I have to tell you, Brad, it has kind of been a risk off market.
Yeah, no, it has. But the thing is, here it's not mutually exclusive. The reality is that we're giving you kind of the overall global way to approach that segment. But the reality is that in that segment, there are a variety of different trades, and each trade is unique and independent. And it's very, very possible that in a risk-off mode, one trade really had tremendous follow through. And that's why we're giving you all these different data points, so you can see which stocks are continuing to move, which ones are kind of stalling out, and just giving you that insight.
And of course, like I said before, channels designed for everything. If you want to know what's going on with the earnings, you can see it on this channel.
Pull up the active trading channel, because I think there's some really great ways that we've configured some of these windows. Now, Dan showed you the biggest gainers and the biggest losers in the top list windows. And that's one way to use the top list in a ranked list kind of way. But I think there are two really interesting top lists down at the bottom of this, which are the biggest bounce on losers and the biggest pullbacks on winners. So just another really interesting way to take our data, put it in a top list window, and sort it appropriately, so that you can have a list of stocks that are doing great but happen to be pulling back right now, giving you an opportunity to hop in, or the inverse of that.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite little alert windows. And one of the big things that Brad and I have discussed in previous Q&As is we're kind of shifting everything to a mode of paper trading. We don't have a demo for that yet, but that's going to be coming out. So everything you see here, you will be able to paper trade, kind of like you being your own AI, and it'll keep track of that stuff for you. And I mean, since we're here, Brad, also, of course, we're going to be focusing on the swing trading AI, which we're going to be bringing into the fold as well, where we try to show you which ones, which stocks that Holly has gotten you into are still working, and basically when to get in, stay in, take profit, and get back in. I mean, that's really the bottom line. You get in, you try to stay in, you approach it the longer term, you hopefully ride some of this, maybe pull back here, flat it. But when it crosses that buy signal again, then you can really take advantage. So that's
so in this channel here, Dan, there are a couple other windows that maybe we can highlight real quick, and that would just be the A window and the M window, which is kind of derivative of it. But we've shown you the top list windows. This right here, the alert window, is really kind of the first bit of tech that we came to market with, but it's an event-based window. It's an alert window. So when something is happening in the market, something that you've identified that you want to look for, when it happens, it's going to give you that notification, real-time streaming. You click on it, take a look at what's happening, and make a decision. And then we have the multi-strategy just to the right of it, which is just like an alert window, but in that one window, I think there are like 20 different strategies, all different and unique, and just gives you a really great information kind of flow, if you will.
And it's idea flow too, that you can, once you look at it, right, you can be like, just like we did here, like, oh, what's going on here, right? You give yourself a quick alert, say something is going on. And now you've set this up. And let's see, under tools, let's see, where is my, okay. So notice here, I've got my price alerts, guys. So this is sort of like our own version of your paper trading long term. You get into stuff. This is your signal, current price, and you figure out what's working and what's not working. So in this case, the best one was the short. And a long, that's, so okay. Alberto, do you mean like the how you set the alerts or what this window is, or? Okay, alpha and surge. Okay, so alpha and surge are very similar channels. Surge means that there's a volume component to it. So let me go to the surge channel real quick, see if I got this pinned. So when I'm looking at surge, what I notice typically is at the point in time when I'm looking at it, it is surging. Whereas alpha predator is not specifically needed that full kind of volume thrust. It's sort of setting up in this mode that we know, like predator, meaning like we're hunting, right? We want the alpha to come to us and then we jump on it. Does that make sense?
There's also a very unique way that that bottom alert window is configured, and you can't really see it right now because there's not a whole lot of data flowing through it, but this window here, it's an alert window, which is an event-based window, but it's set to give you a sort in a different way. It's actually going to sort this based on the count, and the count is referring to the number of new highs that have occurred in that stock. So if you refresh it at any time, you clear it at any time during the market, it's going to start bringing in the new highs, and it's going to tell you how many times they've had those new highs and start ranking it. So very quickly, the cream's going to rise to the top, if you will, and you're going to see which stocks are making the most new highs, which have the most momentum and action going through them right now.
Yeah, there's the idea here is that there isn't a better channel per se, although again, one of the other things that we're trying to focus on, as we have said before, is that making the channel such that in a way, the AI, or what we use in the AI, can kind of paper trade every channel for you, depending on how, like you can say, okay, I want you to try to find me the 5 best trades. What would you do? And it would kind of give it a whirl based on some of the stuff that we do in the AI. So again, that's something in future developments as everything becomes more paper trading oriented, and when you go to OSN or something, the idea is that you commit yourself to doing something. Okay, one of the things that I want you guys to notice is that every stock has a game plan for you. We've talked about this before. You got the swing exit right here. You've got the smart stop right there. So if you were in this right now, this would be your smart stop, and if you wanted to hold it longer term, the swing exit's right there. Okay. So that's really the high level. And Brad, we're really reviewing a lot of things that we've talked about before. Why don't we open this up to the Q&A group, see if there's any other questions. Is there anything that you're interested in that we can, discuss with you? Because, we do our Q&A every week, and lots of times, there's very exciting stuff to talk about. But then, of course, we also get into the point that, like, one of the things you can do, we can show you that you can make your own channels. You can edit the channel bar, create your own. There's designs for you where you can look at something.
Drop your own image in.
Yeah. Like I spy. Okay, and then you can take your cloud link, select from cloud. And I'm just gonna put this in, select.
You want to hit the right name. Hit the right name button right under I Spy. Nope, left, right there. Yep.
Okay, and I hit OK, and add channel. Whoops. Yes.
Just apply.
Apply, and now look. Sorry about that. Probably gave a bad cloud link, but that's the idea, at least. Let me edit this channel real quick.
You got to select it, edit.
So you can edit the channel. Let's see, select from cloud. Let me find. Power view. Let's see what that does. So this was a channel that I had created a little while ago that has lots of different interesting stuff.
Got the Quantalytics indicator in it.
That's right. It's got the Quantalytics in there. And now this channel is in here. And if I click back on this, it just goes right back to where I was before. Okay, so Brandon, right now, I would say peel back. The idea is that, and we've talked about this before in the beginning, I know you're a little late to it, is that right now the market is very volatile, so it is better to kind of go super, super slow. In other words, do more like these kind of alert-based paper trades than actually jump right into everything on the AI. And again, this could change tomorrow, but I'm just saying from what I saw, there's not, I mean, 3K is kind of standard. There's nothing wrong with that because it's the trial and error process. Like again, you could, tomorrow could change it all around and you could start doing what needs to be done. It's just that we are in a kind of a turbulent market environment. Okay, I mean, Brad, what would you?
Yeah, no, I would do this. Pull up the Omnichannel, and I want to kind of highlight something that's kind of a. When you pull it up, it's a little bit easier to tell. And so when you look at the risk off, risk on charts on the left-hand side, when you see that they're all different, some are risk off, some are full risk. It's not giving you a real standard, consistent approach. And because when you're auto trading the AI, you have to make some determinations. You have to initially say, okay, am I going to do this in risk off mode? Am I going to do it in risk on mode? Am I going to gray box and intervene by moving stops and stuff? You have to make some determinations. Are you going to enter into your positions with a market order, being more aggressive, or do it with a limit, maybe a limit delta? You know, these are all the decisions.
Brandon, let me ask you a question. How are you doing it? Are you doing it in risk off mode, risk on mode? Which, because again, maybe we can help stem the tide. Like, what is your current approach, and what are you doing on a per, like in this setting? Like, what are you setting up to lose per trade? Are you trading per share? You know, these are the, because again, part of getting better is slowing down. You know, if we can't tell what it is exactly that you're doing, it's hard to give you the proper, what you call it, feedback. So, Simon, I've got two 20s, I think, Brad, next to each other. You've been at my house before.
Yeah, you know, look, it doesn't matter whether it's a 20 or a 27. I think it's really all about kind of the resolution that you're putting in there, and whether you have kind of a high definition monitor or not, whether it's a 4K monitor or not. I think at minimum you want about like 1920 by 1080. That gives you a nice high resolution desktop where you can fit all the different windows on. But you can get by on a laptop. It's just not recommended.
So yeah, Brandon, are you still okay? So Brandon, what I would do right now, okay, is that I would do limit deltas. So in other words, trade, again, if you're going in, and I do, see, this is the thing, it's a question of do you want to be in everything or not. I do, like, we do a limit delta where you give yourself, let's say, 5 cents. Brad, what do you think, like 5 or so?
Yeah, I like putting a non-aggressive limit delta, but I also like then ratcheting up the time in force. So it's going to give me a lot more time to keep that order out there, maybe for a few minutes, not just a minute.
Right, so a limit delta of probably like 5 to 6 cents, have that be in the market for 2 minutes or so. And right now I would trade risk off. Does that make sense? Yeah, and again, yeah, do that. And Brandon, the thing is, remember what I was saying before. You can also take a couple of days off and watch what's going on. This is a tricky environment, and sometimes no matter what you do, like, you know, I hate stuff like that because, you know, tomorrow you could have a day where everything's just printing money, and that happens. You can't time that. But certainly I would just get a little bit smaller on on your executions, and just yeah, give that a shout, and please give us some feedback, because I want to know what's going on. We want to make sure, we want to get you profitable and winning bigly. But the market's got to be there for that as well. Okay, what else do we got? Any other questions? Okay, love it. So Brad, maybe we'll do a shortened Q&A today. Let me show you guys something. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of data that we're bringing out. So this is what Holly's been doing since January. Okay, and this is what the equity curve since January would look like. I don't remember, Brad, I don't know if Dave may have showed you all this. This is ugly in our back office, but it's kind of giving you the calendar heat map of what has been going on with the AI, so that you can understand that, again, you have periods where like lose, okay, make, lose, then you make it, you know, these are the 3 big days, as long as you keep your losers down. January, very strong, then April was a lot tougher. And here we are in May.
Yeah, I haven't been walked through this yet, but it's just kind of the raw data that we're going to start to allow our users to manipulate.
Yeah, it's the raw data of the AI. Again, just so that you know that, you know, we're not bullshitting you. This can be done. We're just trying to get you to understand that it isn't easy, and you have these periods, you know, where if you start doing it here, and you have to be able to come through this month of February, then to ride this kind of move. And then look from here, where we're talking about March, we've had a drawdown and we've just gotten back up. So you have to expect some of this. This equity curve, you know, it's never a perfectly straight line. And Brandon, this is what I'm trying to talk to about, so that you can kind of have some expectations of what to expect, if that makes any sense. So Brad, that was my little, so I think that's trade. I'm going to find out, Brandon. I'm not sure if that's trading all of them, or it's right now it's kind of in the raw data mode. I'm pretty sure, Brad, is it all, you think? Or
yeah, I think it's all. It's supposed to be consolidated. I don't know whether he's put it in that form yet, but it'll be consolidated. You know, but we're going to be providing the mechanism to be able to analyze each of the individual strategies and how they perform, so that you inevitably will be able to say, okay, I want to turn on little big guy, but I don't want to turn on topping formation today. I want to turn on these 3 because these are the statistics I like. The market looks that way for me. And so we're going to be providing a little bit more insight into the data to allow you to really customize how you want to approach the day.
right, and that doesn't mean, of course, that just because you're selecting the stuff that's been working before, that it's going to be perfect afterwards, but we're trying to get it to the most statistically viable, the most, you know, just the stuff that where we can get as close to the green as possible for you. So Brad, did you have something else, or?
No, I don't.
Okay, Alberta, we really appreciate your comment. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up a little bit sooner than normal, just because it's that time. For all of you who have friends who you want to introduce to Trade Ideas, or if you're interested in it, Holly Flowers, 15% off first month or a year of Trade Ideas. This is how much our software costs on a daily basis. For the most advanced analytics available in the market today, stuff you don't get at Bloomberg or Goldman or anywhere else. It's charged monthly or annually, but this is what you get. There's a trading room run by our very good friend Barry Anderson that's open every day during market hours, where you get to window shop, see how other people are doing it, and Barry trades the AI, but not all of the AI. So you get everything, and it's a great community that we really recommend that you take advantage of. Myself and Jamie Hodge, we do a podcast on Fridays, and sometimes we have guests that come in there, so we recommend that you take a look at this on your podcast finder. And of course, as we said before, the downside, very important to know. We have a free ebook for you so that you can get comfortable with understanding it takes two directions for you to really get the most results out of the stock market. Whoops. And I always do that, Brad. I always click on it.
Wouldn't be a good webinar without it.
No doubt. We are very easy to get a hold of. Active on social media. Please like us on Facebook. And if you have any questions at all about anything that we do or that you heard today, please shoot us an email at info@trade-ideas.com. Scott, quick and easy.
That sounds good. Keep in mind we'll have a recording up later on tonight or tomorrow morning. Send you an email reminder tomorrow from GoToWebinar with a link to the playlist where you can find it. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you. Take care.